Hello all, it's Mark here. I'm the founder of the Arts and Culture Network, and we're currently at over 61,000 members across all of our LinkedIn groups, which is very exciting. Some choose to join us as full members. That comes with additional benefits like the recording of this interview. So I'm delighted that I'm joined today by Rachel Kochany, who is one of our, in fact, you've only technically been a member for a day.
I have, Rachel, just one day.
So you're very, very welcome, and thank you so much for the support. I made the decision when we set up the Arts and Culture, when I really started working on it in 2020, that I wasn't going to go cap in hand to the Arts Council because I'm not one for paperwork, and I didn't like the risk of not getting anything or not all of it, and the hoops you have to jump through are just, even after you've got the funding and even after you've spent it, you still have to report on it. And I thought, wouldn't it be lovely to have a large number of people in a great big group all over the world, where they can, paying a small amount of per month, that will then effectively do the job of making it possible to continue. In fact, one member wrote to me yesterday saying, I know the events are free, but I love them so much, I wanted to join so that I could contribute something to make sure they carried on. So that's it. So Rachel, for the benefit of, we've had a lovely chat, and I've got some questions I want to talk about, but would you like to give us the elevator pitch, the Rachel offering?
Sure, absolutely. So I work in the field of people and possibilities. I love helping people come around a table and understand each other better. Whatever background or worldview or experience they come from, we can all learn from each other, and there's always such a richness in the room when we meet. So I love helping people to build trust and understanding, work together really well, and really make the best of the opportunities that they have as individuals and also as team. So yeah, that's the work I love to do, Mark. I'm also a coach. I do one-to-one work with people, helping them dive into their purpose and identity, and helping them look at what are the things that are really important to them so that they can actually align their decisions around those. And I think, live a more fulfilled life. So combination of those two things and change work with teams is what I do. So, and thank you for the welcome. It's been lovely.
It's my pleasure, and we've had a little conversation before we hit the record button, and I scribbled down some words that will help me remember you and the work that you do, so that I can refer and introduce you. We made the analogy, didn't we, between the people at a meeting and an orchestra.
Yeah.
And everybody in both of those scenarios is bringing an awful lot of expertise and value and experience to that performance or meeting, and it only works with a symphony orchestra if you have a wonderful conductor who can bring the best out of everybody at the right time, and the end result is magnificent. So I think I described you as the meetings maestro. I know it's only one of the things that you do, but I love the idea of somebody who can come in and effectively facilitate the friendship or the closeness that needs to happen for that meeting to be perfect. And I also scribbled down that you're a trust broker, and I love that. It's a lovely thing to be able to do. I know for many people meetings are a necessary evil, but and they often fail to reach any kind of beneficial conclusion. But I love the idea that you could have a referee almost, not quite a referee, but somebody who's there to oil the wheels of conversation and allow people to be heard, especially those who might not normally be heard, and the end result must be, and you must have some fantastic feedback from clients whose meetings you've transformed.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I love this kind of work, and it makes me think of an example in Poland when we were putting together a conference around Europe and what it would look like. And I wanted people to come into the room, this is with the steering committee, and think about what the results we wanted from the conference, but to actually think about it as people themselves. So we represented different communities, whether it was the diplomatic community or the sociology community or the think tank community. And I was there just bringing people together, or faith communities. And we really thought about what we as humans wanted to see as Europe. It's all rather ironic now, but you know, and so we kind of modeled as a group what we wanted to happen at the bigger conference. And then when we got to the conference, we've been able to bring in all the right kinds of people and actually enable people to enjoy it as people as well as specialists in their field. And I think that made it quite a different kind of event. Somebody from Wilton Park said it was really refreshing, and it was different in its approach. So I think it's all about listening to who's in the room. And I think you're right in that I do chair and do strategy days, away days, that sort of thing. And I love doing that and weaving the conversations together. But also the thing I love almost more than that is helping other people do that, training other people to actually use these meeting techniques so that they get these results from their groups. And surprise, surprise, people feel more valued, they engage more, the quieter people get to speak. And so often they have the answers. So I have a three-part series that I do with people, and we actually model it in the sessions, and they come away being able to do it and getting those results themselves. So it's a nice win-win, and I like both of them. Yeah.
That's great. I gather you're doing a series in September.
That's it. So kicking off on the 21st of September, that'll be just an hour, and that'll be looking at one-to-one thinking partnerships and how we help each other think to the best of our ability. And we'll model that and do it in the group. The second of them is in the first week of October, and we'll look at group techniques and practice those together. So at the end of two and a half hours, we can take those techniques away. And the third one is problem solving. So yeah.
Nice. Wherever this appears, if there's time, I know it's 2023, September 2023, when that kicks off. So we'll do our best to get those. But by all means, please do mention those events on all our LinkedIn groups and tag me so reshare them. It's interesting. You remind me of a story about, I think it was the matchmaking company Bryant and May, the Matchbox.
Oh yes,
company.
yeah.
They were struggling. And I think the managing director, this must be decades, if not more, ago, he convened a meeting, and he wanted somebody from every layer of the business in the meeting, including somebody who swept up the ashes at the end of the day.
Brilliant.
And he posed the question to the group, and the question was, we are in dire financial trouble. And between us, we need to solve the problem. And they agonized over it until the young boy who used to sweep up the factory said, why do we need to have the striking paper on both sides?
That is
he then said you could run adverts on the other side. And so somebody, it comes from this is why you need to hear all of the voices, because it's quite staggering. Arguably saved the company, because they had always had, I remember them, they always had the striking on both sides, and then suddenly didn't anymore. And I thought, oh, wonderful. Okay, well, it still works. Actually, the Matchbox is an incredible feat of engineering, because it has to be tight enough not to fall out, but not so tight you can't push it through.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's got to not fall out when you hold it like that, but it's got to be, that it's got to be such that you can push it through. Yeah. Brilliant, genius.
I love that.
And there's also this. Sorry,
I was just going to say that the third one of the series is around problem solving, or looking at challenges like the Matchbox. Let's say they were stuck on the design of the Matchbox. That's something that someone in the group would bring, and then you learn from the experience of everybody else in the room. They know nothing about Matchboxes. To take your example there, but they will know things that they have done in other settings that have worked. And they
might do if you use that Matchbox challenge in that session. See if anyone comes up with that.
That's good.
Yeah, the other one that I love, and you may have heard this, is a test to think is to try and find the people in the room who think outside the box. So I'm going to do it on you now. I told you we would go off piste, and we're going
No
off
worries.
piste.
Open up.
I want you to imagine you're driving a two-seater sports car through the country roads in Scotland in November, and it's raining heavily.
Okay.
So you're in a two-seater sports car in Scotland, in the country roads, raining heavily. It's foul. Okay. You turn a corner, and up ahead of you is a dilapidated bus shelter, under which are three people. The first is a very old lady who looks as though she needs to be at home.
Yeah.
The second is your best friend who once saved your life.
Okay.
And the third, assuming you're single, is the partner of your dreams. Okay. Now, I use this on interviews. What do you do?
So this is assuming that I have a choice of one person.
I'll talk you through this because it would be unfair otherwise, because otherwise I'm putting you on the spot. Most of us assume we have to drive the car.
Right.
So the answer that demonstrates that somebody thinks differently is I give the keys to the car to my best friend who once saved my life. I ask her to take the old lady home, and I wait for a bus with the partner of my dreams, because we all leap to the assumption that it has to be us driving the car. So that's a, you might want to throw that in on that sense.
No, that's nice. That's nice. I can tell you a story of waiting at a bus stop in Poland, and it being about -10 degrees. I didn't used to like the cold, but I got used to it quite quickly. And I couldn't understand it. One day, this very elderly lady started hitting me really, really hard. She's very much shorter than me. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't have much Polish at the time. I just arrived. Really, really hitting me. And I started to warm up. I'd been so cold, I was shivering. And what had happened was she had seen that I was shivering. And I think in post-war days or whatever, people used to do this for each other to warm each other up. And she had automatically, although I was a foreigner, this tall person in a long black coat, she started hitting me, and it did warm me up, and I wasn't shivering anymore. But that was it was a kind of unusual experience for me at a bus stop.
Oh, that is an unusual one. Yes. I love that story. That's great. So this is great. So wherever this appears, there'll be links to your LinkedIn and to your website and other resources that we can pop into the page, which is great. So thank you so much for the introduction. Was there anything else you wanted to let us know about?
Sure. I'd love to just say that my background is in cultural relations. I worked for the British Council for about 28 years. So love working with people in different countries. Also help people to prepare for moving to live and work overseas and move back, because it could be something to adapt to. And I've worked through that, obviously, and help people make the really excel in those situations. And I love helping people work through change, whether that's individuals or teams, and to be as effective as they can. So that would be the main thing I would say. And, looking forward to getting involved, getting on board, and helping people to build more positive cultures wherever they are. And if you've got a whole group of people connected with the arts, which you have, they're going to be seeing lots of possibilities. So working alongside people like that sounds fun to me.
That's great. Yes, I think there'll be several people in our network who'd love to the opportunity to spend some time with you and learn from you, from everything that you've developed. I think that's great. Excellent. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to switch to the fun zone.
Fine.
This is we've done the formal bit.
Okay.
We know what you offer, which is great, but this is where we get to know you a little better. So we're going to play the arts and culture hot top 10.
All right.
It's a little bit like Desert Island Discs, but broader. So if for any reason you don't have a favorite in these categories, by all means throw it back at me, and I'll have to answer the question for you. Yeah. And then we'll do the this or that game. But first, Rachel, do you have a favorite building?
I would love to have an answer to that question. Let me pick out one. Let me say that one of the favourite things I love to look at are the mosaics in Park Güell in Barcelona. If you go into the park, there are miles and miles of benches with curved backs covered with mosaics. I love mosaics, and I love walking in that park and seeing all the colours and then sitting on the benches, and it's just really beautiful. So it's not a building. There were lots of Gaudi. There's Gaudi done by Gaudi. The Gaudi buildings there, I know, and the doors of the church in the cathedral are astonishing. There's so many words on those doors. It's quite a visual feast looking at them. So I'd probably go for something like that.
Love that. I think I was absolutely blown away at St. Mark's in St. Mark's Square in Venice. The church at the end as you go in before you turn right to the water.
Yeah, never been.
The one with the 4 big horses at the top.
Okay,
I think.
picture it, yeah.
The interior is almost entirely green mosaic,
Oh,
and the tiles are like this. I mean, it's just staggering, incredible. I also use an app called Calm to help get me off to sleep. It's brilliant, and the sleep stories are all about 20 minutes long. I've yet to hear the end of any of them.
It's working then.
But one of the stories is the mosaic maker of Andalusia, and that's a beautiful story.
Listen,
I don't know what happens. Yeah, I don't know what happens at the end, but there's also the glass maker of Murano, and the guitar maker. There's some lovely stories. Anyway, we digress, which is half the point, which is good. Do you have a favorite book?
I'm a reflector, so this is what's happening now. I'm reflecting rather than giving you a quick answer. Not terribly helpful.
All right.
Well, I actually love the Bible, but you might not want me to talk about that. But I do love the Bible. I find it rich and full of humanity. And people assume it's full of religion, and I don't like religion, actually. But I do love people looking at people and people feeling valued, and I find that when I look in the Bible, and stories of life and facing difficulty, but being supported in that difficulty, being companioned through those stages, and yeah, paradox. But I love paradox. So this may not be the answer you're looking for.
I think that's the surprise I was looking for. I love the idea of somebody who reads the Bible and isn't particularly religious. I agree. I was brought up as a Catholic, but I'm an atheist now. But for me, the best thing that ever came out of religion was the music. But yes, the Bible is such a fantastic work of teaching. It's just unfortunate that it's so closely associated with what I believe is potentially flawed organized religion. But I'm with you.
I think you have to look at the life behind it, because I think you're right. The structures can crush the life, and that's a real shame. And I'm really sad where we've done that. Because the point is the life behind it.
Yeah. I mean, the values that are taught, I know there's some strange translations of some really odd recommendations for living one's life if you look deeply enough, and really quite contentious nowadays. But deep down there is, it's, forgiveness.
Absolutely. Great.
Samaritan, helping each other out, all of those values that still hold true. So no, you absolutely have the Bible. There we go. Yeah. Now, do you have a favorite dancer, dance group, or dance style?
Wow. I have recently come back from a party of a friend in Wales, where it was the best music for a very long time. And my very good friend, who is a very committed person looking after the environment and a market gardener, turned out to be the most fantastic DJ, and it was a complete surprise. And it was brilliant. A whole range of things, actually. I often do watch dance groups actually on Instagram to relax. I can't give you a name off the top of my head, but I do. I think dancing is really, really important. I feel free and happy when I'm dancing, and I think there should be more of it, really. Or I need to get to more places where there's more going on, because I think it's part of the stuff of life that.
My wife and I once, we used to do a weekly salsa class in Moorgate in London, and there was this chap there who was always there. He looked a little bit like Jack Black, the actor. He was really quite short, and he was almost as wide as he was tall.
Yeah.
But every time we looked over at him standing at the bar, there was a queue of statuesque model-like dancers waiting to dance with him. Wow. He had the most incredible capacity to make the girl he was dancing with look incredible. Yeah. And that's why he was so popular. It's you know, he would say, "Oh, please give me 5 minutes," you know, this tall, leggy dancer wanting to dance with him. It's brilliant. But love that. Okay, yes, I imagine an awful lot of people spot something really quite incredible on Instagram, but can't remember who it was.
Yeah.
So
the other thing that's come to mind is dancing the tango to with the Spanish deputy ambassador, who was called Bernardo. Bernardo, if you're out there, hello. When I was working in Warsaw, and it was really one of the best nights ever. And it was there was a full orchestra, and we danced for hours. It was fantastic. So
yeah. Love it, love it. Now this one's a little bit difficult.
Okay, go ahead.
I want you to assume that you've been exiled from the United Kingdom and any other country in which you have resided.
Yeah. For
some unknown misdemeanor. But you can choose which country you live in based on your perception of its culture. So what country you've never lived in would you like to move to?
Very good questions, and very hard ones. Well, I would have said Poland 25 years ago, but not now, because of the level of friendship. And maybe 35 years ago, actually, because I learned a lot about friendship and a lot about love from my Polish friends. And the depth of connection was really deep. I'm not sure if it's like that anymore, but they had some things really right, and it made me think about stuff like that, which mattered. However, I have lived in Poland, so I'm not allowed to say that. I don't know the answer to that question. I probably like Mexico for fun. Somewhere in Scandinavia for beautiful views of mountains and sea, and somewhere else for beautiful poetry. But I haven't formulated an answer to that one yet.
Lovely. You're almost throwing that one back at me, so I've got a new one as an answer to that question. On the 10th of July, there was a song festival in Riga in Latvia.
I've been to Riga. I love it.
Yeah. I'll be going there because my brother, who's a cellist, proposed to his pianist partner during the song festival. It's the song festival. There are 18,000 in the choir.
Wow.
It's the most incredible video. I'll share the link. I'll put the link.
Please do.
In the chat in a moment. 45,000 in the audience and 18,000 in the choir. Something like 20 conductors took it in turns to conduct it. It's such a major undertaking. They only do it every 5 years. And there was a particular tune that Lauma's father was his favorite tune, and when they started singing that, when 18,000 people started singing that tune, and the tune is on his gravestone, that's when my brother went down on one knee and proposed. So
beautiful.
It's beautiful. So I'd be heading to Latvia, I think.
Wow.
Now, as a
can I just tell you one? Because
yes, please.
Important. So you've made me think of a time when I was in a concert in London, New Jersey Mass Gospel Choir. So absolutely huge choir, fantastic gospel music. Not usually my genre, but they were just so brilliant. And I'd got free tickets through some conference I'd organised or whatever. So I went along with my father, another journalist, and one other person who was white, standing next to me. And I think the whole rest of the audience was black. And it was the night, it was the most fantastic environment. And it was the night that they announced that Nelson Mandela had been freed from the stage. And I was in the middle of it. And the whole place, absolutely, I've never felt or seen such joy expressed, I don't think, by thousands of people all around me. And it was just amazing sense of freedom. So that was a real privilege. I love that.
I love that. You see, there's always a surprise in these conversations. I love that. I can feel like I'm starting to feel a little bit like what it must have felt like to be there. That's incredible. Okay, moving on.
Yes.
As a participant or a spectator, do you have a favorite sport?
I love watching basketball.
Excellent. There's
I
a surprise.
love watching basketball. I used to be pretty good at basketball. In fact, with said Spanish Deputy Ambassador and some of his colleagues, we played brilliant basketball. I used to really enjoy that. I love watching it because people are often tall and elegant. Anyone can play basketball, but there's something about, actually, I like watching men play basketball because they're so tall and elegant. And there's this combination of huge power and elegance as they put the thing in the basket, and also the feeling of getting the ball in the basket is pretty darn satisfying. So yeah, I love watching basketball.
Love that. Now this one's slightly cruel.
Okay.
I'm going to limit you to one musical genre for the rest of your life.
Right.
What do you choose? Well,
that's really interesting. To my surprise, what bubbled up was first classical, but then that moved into jazz. If I had to choose one, not trad jazz, but really interesting, kind of semi-ethereal jazz. And there's a guy called Matthew Holston, I think his name is, based in Manchester. We saw recently at the great concert hall, Stoller Hall, with the absolutely brilliant, part of Chetham's School of Music, brilliant acoustics. So probably if I had to choose one, because you can go both ends of the scale, can't you? You can have all different types of effects of music with jazz. So if I had to choose one, I'd probably say that.
Great, love that. And do you have a favorite visual artist?
I like a really wide range of artists, actually. I love going to art galleries. It's one of the best ways I relax. And it's anything from Rothko, that was probably 20 years ago, to Turner with the light on the water, to a German artist whose name now escapes me, but based in France, does amazing murals, things like encrusted diamonds in the middle of mud. It's just really, really clever. His name will come back to me. No, so a really wide range of art that I enjoy, actually, and simple letterpress and etchings as well. So yeah, not one clear answer on that one.
And what about a favorite play or musical?
So I'm desperately trying to think of the name of it. It's a musical about a group of people who were stranded in an Alaskan town, and this Alaskan town only had, say, 1,000 or 2,000 people in it, and about 15,000 people were stranded there because of the way it was just after 9/11. Something like all come together, or it
begins with G, I think, that place. Wasn't it one where the community?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Just for trying to think of the name. It's absolutely brilliant. Everyone was on their feet, just clapping at the end, and just such an encouraging story of community and looking out for the other, but also real life, joy. Sorry.
Was it Alaska or was it Newfoundland? Somewhere near. It was a town.
It could have been Newfoundland. It could have been. It had that kind of feel to it. But yeah,
town beginning with G. but
Yes,
I know the one. I know the
you know what
story.
I mean.
I didn't know they'd made a play about it.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. Yeah,
Okay, great. Oh, I'll have to hunt that out.
yeah, do.
And a favorite film?
Goodness, sorry, I'm not the easiest person on this, am I? Well, it used to be Diva when I was a student, but that was a very long time ago. I like films that are quite slow burn, but you really get to see the people, what's going on for them. Life stories, really. But also, you know, Great Escapes, or let's say White Men Can't Jump, if I have to pick one. I really enjoy that.
I think I've remembered the town in Canada.
Okay.
Gander.
I think you're right. That sounds.
Yeah, I think that might have been it. So excellent. Okay, I love that. White Man Can't Jump. Hence the basketball link.
Yeah.
And finally, for this section of our chat, which I've thoroughly enjoyed, I have to tell you, is, apart from me, who was the last person to make you laugh?
Good question. Do you know, it probably wasn't a person. It was probably, this sounds very odd, but I love looking at birds, and it was probably looking at this really odd bird or something. It was probably, I went to see puffins 2 weeks ago, just because I was bored and I wanted to go and do something different. So I went and put myself in a cabin in Bankton, and 20 minutes walk from these cliffs, which are beautiful, with loads of seabirds all over them. Their chicks are hatching. It's just beautiful. To be in another place and to watch the puffins, and they make me laugh. You cannot be depressed if you look at a puffin. It's absolutely, it's physically impossible, because they are just so funny.
That's brilliant. I'm going to watch some puffin videos on YouTube.
You must.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much for doing that. The feedback I get from these, Rachel, is that people feel as though they've got to know someone a little bit better before they get to meet them. And this has been a delight. So this one's a little bit rapid fire. To finish off, this is the this or that game. I'll give you two things and you have to tell me which one you're going to.
All right.
You have to choose one or the other.
Yes.
So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Radio or TV?
TV.
Car or motorcycle?
Neither.
Comedy or horror?
Comedy.
Concert hall or sports stadium?
Concert hall.
Cat or dog?
Cat.
Test the water or dive in the deep end?
Depends.
Bits or no bits?
What do you mean?
In your orange juice?
Bits. Definitely bits. They're the best bit.
Library or museum?
Art gallery.
You have to choose one of the two I give you.
You did say that. I'm being rebellious. Sorry. Library or museum? They both sound a bit dead, to be honest. Let's go for museum.
Okay. Beethoven or Mozart?
Beethoven, definitely.
Shower or bath?
Shower.
Be embarrassed or be afraid?
Be embarrassed rather than be afraid.
Fiction or non-fiction?
Non-fiction.
Patterned or plain?
Patterned.
Shopping online or in store?
In store.
Reggae or salsa?
Salsa.
Indoors or outdoors?
Outdoors every time.
Android or iPhone?
Android, but Mac.
Start immediately or wait until the last minute?
Start immediately.
I'm so not you. Science or history?
History.
See the future or change the past?
See the future.
Plan it or wing it?
Well, I want to see both, but I'm not allowed. So I think it's a bit of plan it and a bit of wing it.
Okay. You're improvising based on a theme and variations.
Yeah, that's it.
Bedroom door, open or closed?
Closed.
Zombies or vampires?
Neither.
You have to choose.
Zombies. Don't like vampires.
Red or white wine?
Red.
Batman or Superman?
Superman.
Numbers or words?
Words every time.
Rare or well done?
Rare.
Basketball or baseball?
Both, but basketball.
Mild or spicy?
Spicy.
Opera or chamber music?
Chamber music.
Whiskey or rum?
Rum.
And not quite finally, but nearly there. Stripes or spots?
Stripes.
And finally, gold or silver?
Gold.
Wonderful. That's been such fun. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Mark. Amazing.
Well, we've just got to know each other as well as we would have done if we've had 10 meetings over 2 years. I love it. I love it. I know how you tick now, which is great. So the people, for those who haven't had the pleasure of meeting you, even if it's just like this on Zoom, this is an opportunity. So when you're approached by people in our network, or when you reach them, you can always send them here and say, look, you might like to go and see the interview I did with Mark. And
that's nice.
Yes, so thank you so much for doing this and for being one of our supportive full members. And I hope we'll see you again at one of our networking events looming. We're taking a little bit of a break in August.
Sure.
On the 10th of August, we're doing our first Australian one. So I've got to get up at 4 a.m. for that.
Wow, good luck for that.
Yes. But thanks again, Rachel.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks for your time. It's been brilliant. Thank you.
Lovely fun. Thank you.
Take good care. See you.